This lesson is about note values, and if you watched the previous lesson about time signatures, you'll know I referenced the little diagram of a number slash a number, so with the second one being the note value, which is essentially what this lesson is about. The first number is the amount of notes, but I don't really want to get into that too much. You can have as many of the notes as you want to. You can have like a friggin' 1,000,004 if you really want to go that route. But my focus for this lesson is on the second number, so the note value, which is either a full note or a half note or a quarter note, 8th note, 16th note, 32nd, 64th. You know, you can theoretically and mathematically you can go as deep as you want to. But I really want you guys to understand the value of, well, specifically now, a quarter note, because we're going to relate everything to a quarter note. I think the easiest way to grasp this is if you hear a song on the radio or on the TV, and you clap along to the song, chances are really good that you're clapping in quarter notes, or kind of tapping your foot or counting along to the song. If you're kind of just feeling the song, it generally you'll be feeling it in quarter notes. So that's why the BPM, or the beats per measure of a song, is measured in quarter notes. So if you kind of hear the tempo and you do this, then chances are this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and so on and so forth. So that's how quarter notes, that's how they operate. They're kind of, I'm going to relate everything to quarter notes because they're really easy to understand, and that's kind of the natural inclination of your human fiber. That was really deep, but that's how you understand quarter notes pretty much, because it's such a natural thing. So I'll play a groove along to the song, to a song, and I'll be leading the groove with my right hand in quarter notes. But don't worry about counting too much. Don't worry about counting 1, 2, 3, 4, because we know it's quarter notes. Rather concentrate on the way that it sounds and the way that it feels inside the groove. So specifically check out my right hand, because I'll be leading the song and the groove with my right hand playing quarter notes. So this is the song in quarter notes. Check it out. So that was quarter notes, and it's ridiculously important that you know how they feel and how they sound, and kind of just how they exist within most popular songs, because we're going to relate everything else in this lesson to quarter notes. They're kind of the building blocks, so if you get that and if you know what they feel like, the rest will be really simple and really easy. But if we're counting quarter notes as 1, 2, 3, 4, like now this is quarter notes. Now you want to go to 8th notes, then the note is cut in half. So there are 2 times more notes. Does that make sense? 2 times more notes because they're cut in half. So instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, like that. So if you want to count all the numbers, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, because it's 8th notes, because there are 8 notes in a measure, if that makes sense. It just halves, so 2 times more notes, not 4, 8. If I lost you, it should make total sense when I play the same groove that I did in the first with the quarter notes, but I'm just leading with 8th notes on my right hand and not quarter notes. So this is what it sounds like, led by 8th notes. Okay, next we have eighth note triplets, and essentially there are 3 eighth note triplets in the space of 1 quarter note. And a lot of people count this as 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. So there are 3 eighth note triplets in the space of 1 quarter note. Now, half an hour ago, I heard this is what they were called. I kind of didn't know this is what they were called, to be perfectly honest. But I've been playing eighth note triplets obviously for years, because I know what they feel like, and I know how they sit around the kit and how they fit into like a 4/4 groove. So the best way for me to explain this to you is just to play the same groove again, but this time leading with eighth note triplets on my right hand. So I won't be leading with quarter notes, I won't be leading with eighth notes, I'll be leading with eighth note triplets. That's really hard to communicate in the South African accent, but I'll just play it and you'll hear what I'm saying, because it's like I said, for me it's a question of feeling the note rather than counting it. But if you want to count 1 triplet, 2 triplet, and so on and so forth, you can do that. But for me, it's like I just go that, like I just make the little awkward little sounds and kind of feel the groove. So I'll just play the groove with eighth note triplets on my right hand. Same groove. Okay, now we're going on to 16th notes. And if you've been watching this whole segment and you didn't just randomly drop in on this lesson, then you'll know what's coming, you'll know what's going to happen. Because you know what quarter notes sound like, you know what they feel like, you know what eighth notes sound like and what they feel like. So logically, 16th notes, it's just the same process. What happened from when we moved from a quarter note to an eighth note is now going to happen when we move from an eighth note to a 16th note. So instead of counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 eighth notes, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, obviously, we go 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So that's 16th notes. Or if you want to count really fast, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Did I miss one? I missed one, didn't I? But you get the point. You get what I'm saying. That the note value just halves again. So exactly what happened from going from a quarter note to an eighth note is now happening when we go from an eighth note to a 16th note. Like I said, the best way that I can explain this to you is just by playing the same groove again, but this time not playing a quarter note, well, not leading with a quarter notes being played on my right hand, or eighth notes, but going to 16th notes. Same groove, same tempo, just 16th notes on the right hand. So once again, concentrate on the way that it feels and what happens to the note value when you move from 8th notes to 16th notes. So this is what's up. Okay, next is 16th note triplets. So what happened from when we moved from eighth notes to eighth note triplets was that there are 3 eighth note triplets in the space of 1 quarter note. So with this, there are now 6 16th note triplets in the space of 1 quarter note. This is exactly the same process. I think you get what I'm saying, what I'm getting at. You know how this is progressing. What happened from going from quarter notes to eighth notes is now happening when we move from eighth note triplets to 16th note triplets. It's the same process. So once again, the best way to make this apparent to you and to show you what actually happens to the note values is just to play the same groove along to the same tempo, this time leading with 16th note triplets. So I'll just play the same song, 16th note triplets. The last note value that I'm going to explain is 32nd notes. And like I said in the beginning, mathematically, you can go on forever. I can explain 64th notes and 128th notes and 256th notes if I want to, but that will just be ridiculous. As long as you snap the concept, as long as you know what's happening to the notes as we progress upwards, then that's all that's important. So the last one is 32nd notes. It's just the same thing that happens from going from quarter notes to eighth notes, which happened when we went from 8th notes to 16th notes, is now going to happen when we go from 16th notes to 32nd notes. I'll just play the same groove, same tempo. I'll defo be playing this with 2 hands again because it's just ridiculously fast, but you'll hear exactly what happens with the note values when I go up to 32nd notes. Same groove, 32nd notes. So to demonstrate all of the stuff that I just said, I'm going to play along to a song and I'll be using different divisions, well, not different divisions, but different note values in grooves and in fills to kind of demonstrate how this applies to real life music. So if you don't know what I'm saying and if you didn't know what I'm explaining before this lesson, that doesn't even matter because you were probably playing these things behind the kit all along. It's really important to know what you're playing. It just broadens your perspective of music in a much broader sense. So it's a very valuable thing to know what you're playing. So I'll just play a song and I'll go from the different note values in between fills and grooves and just kind of try to demonstrate that.